here. Most likely for Keria. Again, it could still be the Pantheon as the support. I don't think it will be. No, it'll be Keria's Rakan as the final pick of the draft here for T1.
Yeah, pretty good matchup into the Braum, all the extra
semifinals and the opportunity to play top esports for a chance at the finals. Rune stacking here. Keria disengaging as AL's on the approach. T1 grouped up as 4. The Drake is down to 2,000 HP. Faker joins up with everybody. It's a 5v5. They go in immediately as Doran tries to lead the charge with the blast estimating smash, but he's only going to be beat down himself. A lot of damage on the Doran, but he is not down. Keria into the back line. The major engage from T1. Tarzan finds a supreme display of talent and making a 1-for-1 so far, but T1 have the health bars. Faker rides the Weaver's wall as Keria's about to die into the back line, but Kyle falls. Tarzan falls. T1, they'll lose Keria as Gumayusi fights back, and Shanks is on the run. Faker and Guma looking for a little bit more with a piercing arrow going over the wall, and Faker's ready to flash. Another rock is thrown, and Shanks is buried.
And look at this, the river control for T1 is pretty early.
Yeah, for AL, it has to be a way of finding a bypass to Doran. Flandre going in.
Yeah, Flandre goes in for the flash. He wants to try to find Faker here. Needs a little bit more damage. Ulti to drop the aggro, and Shanks gets the kill. TP coming in from T1, but it might be a little bit of a problem. No, Doran has the ulti.
Around it very early on. Again, the flashes will be critical here.
Oh, Hope goes forward, but immediately Keria's ready to try to respond here with the grand entrance. Hope tries to get over the wall. He sidesteps the seismic shot, but the damage from Owner is way too much. A big mistake from AL, and a bigger punish from T1. Tarzan goes in! Supreme display of talent under 3, but there is no follow-up. Tarzan has to try to flash away. Owner goes after him, but now he's trapped. Shanks with a little bit more damage, kills off the T1 jungler. The Realm Warp's ready to go in, and Shanks wants another. The arrows fly out as Doran charges in. Shanks with a flash to the side to avoid the engage coming out from T1's top laner. Doran's gonna try to run. Another arrow flies out from Gumayusi as now Keria's got to be careful as he battles redemption early here for AL just to make sure the health bars stay topped off. Flandre marked on the side. Seismic shove onto the AL top laner. Chain CC onto Flandre. He's already down. T1 have found the pick. Supreme display of talent. Tries to hold the line, but into the back line goes Owner. Hope is being chased. Tarzan's being killed. Anyone's legend is being crushed as Shanks tries to fight back in a 1v4, but he'll get nothing but an epitaph as T1 kill 4 and take Soul.
T1 go fishing and they find Flandre. They pick him off and they decimate AL in the team fight.
Hope is trying desperately to hold on,
Faker.
but T1 are chasing.
Faker's riding the wall in. Hope's gonna be the last to die. A delayed ace for T1, and the delay makes
They're
it
going to start to
even.
move down here. They will spot out Hope, but do they know AL are in the bush?
AL trying to set some kind of a trap. They know a fair fight doesn't favor them any longer. Kyle gonna be trapped on the wrong side of the Weaver's wall. Seismic shove connects onto Shanks, who immediately goes golden. But it's gonna be a 2-for-1 deal. Supreme display of talent at least takes Keria out in the process. But T1 have still won the fight. They're gonna keep pushing forward. They've got the Baron. They've after purchasing the Crypt Bloom. AL starting up the Elder Dragon now. T1 watching on, waiting for the rest of the team to approach. Elder Dragon down to about 1/2 HP. Hope taking a chunk of damage. Dora charging in. Weaver's wall over the top. Kyle's gonna be caught. A ton of bursts onto the support of anyone's legend, and he's already down. T1 charge forward. Double kill to Gumayusi. Pressure onto Tarzan. Triple kill Guma. AL are cut to pieces, and T1 holds the sword. Flandre's last to die. An ace for T1. Elder Dragon is claimed, but there's no one left to execute. The game was quiet. The game was close for so very long, but when it came down to the clutch, it's T1 who prove why they are the reigning back-to-back world champions. They out-team fight AL, and they'll take the first game in this best of 5.
T1 looking to silence any doubt that was thrown their way. Try and go for something like the Ona. You still end up in melee range with a Galio, which is not exactly great, but it's the Anivia.
Faker Anivia as the 5th pick of the draft here for T1.
That sounds painful for Galio. What is Galio?
One thing I also want to point out here on these runes, a lot of times you see the summoner spell, but now we can see Tarzan coming down for the Wukong level 3 gank potential here in the bottom lane. Keria goes in with a dredge line. A lot of damage onto Kyle. He flashes away. Gumayusi flashes after. One more spinning axe is going to do it, but no! Hope denies it as Keria has to flash over the wall to escape. Okay, creeping around from behind. Trying to time this so Owner can be in position right as the wave is ready to crash. They don't want to allow Flandra to try to clear this out. Canamini going to absorb it here with a start. Wind becomes lightning. Flandra with a flash away. Doran going to burn him down, but he needs a little bit more damage with the flame spitter. The turret was so heated up, it makes it a 1-for-1.
Shortcomings in the experience he had, but Flandre has hit level 6, eyeing up Faker on the Anivia in this mid-wave.
He's looking for that public execution, and he finds it. Faker gets jumped on. Flandra going in, trying to proc the rebirth, and they get it. They've scrambled the egg, and there's the feat of warfare for anyone's legend. Excuse me. Bouncing through the wave to stop Gumayushi's back as Doran goes in from a ton of damage here with a Flandra. The public execution plus the flash to try to get away. Flash Electro Harpoon coming out from Doran, but no! It's Flandra with reinforcement from Shanks. Faker making his way forward, but T1's not going to find anybody. They also
Doran's in behind.
The teleport now. Doran coming up behind him. The Rumble's already arrived into the fight as Tarzan tries to find some damage onto Faker. Shanks looking to cut him off. The egg, again the rebirth is triggered as Flandra's made his way into the fight and Gumayushi goes back over the wall. Tarzan kills Faker and T1 is on the run. Carrier Dredgelines back to safety as Shanks dives in beside Kael. A double kill for Tarzan.
The TP is available, but they will need to bring him in if they want to try and make a play. And T1 trying to scope out the area as that goes.
Yeah, Carrier jumps in here with the Dredgeline, finds Tarzan, but to no avail. Kael jumps in with a point-blank keeper's verdict. Shanks has arrived. They're looking at Gumayushi and they find the taunt. Guma's already down. T1 are routed as they try to escape from the pit. Carrier now focused.
Have to be very careful about their positioning. Faker himself a little worried about his positioning.
Yeah, he's getting caught out here by Flandra. Public execution, though, not lined up
TPs
correctly. Now Flandra has to flash away. T1 committing to look to find the kill onto the Mbessa. Owner goes after it, needs the third talent strike, and Doran's damage is enough, but off to the side at the same time. Hope is going in. It's another kill traded back as Gumayushi dies once more. Anyone's legend. They want a second, and they'll find it. A double kill to Hope as T1 reinforcements are coming in, but they're a little too slow. Rift Herald summoned up here with
Flandre, they're looking for his TP.
Okay, T1 not afraid to start this up. It's a 2,500 gold lead for anyone's legend, but nobody's here just yet. Otacon already down to 5,000 HP. Tarzan goes in for the Cyclone. Shanks ready to arrive with a grand entrance. Tarzan's low, and the Whirling Death's gonna find the execution. T1 still fighting back as the Otacon is slain by Owner, but he dies in the middle of the fight. Public execution finds no target. Gumayushi on the run. Hope, Flandra, and Kael still looking for a little bit more. The 3,000 individual gold lead for Hope as the 80 carry here with a Sivir. They're moving into the enemy jungle now, and Kael again just slams Owner into the wall, but now he's in danger. Tarzan and Kael both so low, it's 2 dead on the AL side, but Hope is still alive. Faker flashes back over the wall, but Shanks is burning. Flandra caught in the middle of everyone. Anyone's legend have overplayed their hand, and T1 is ready to punish. Hope should be next to die, and Guma cashes in. Only Shanks still stands. That could have been the entire game. A Dredgeline from Carrier, and Owner is ready to follow up. The wind becomes lightning and strikes Shanks down. All over the river, they're gonna start up the Drake. They have the control ward inside the pit. They're gonna step back, group up as a clump, as 5 towards the bottom side of the river. AL looking for the approach. Tarzan wants to flank and he flashes over the wall. Now Faker's gonna try to get away. Hero's entrance, knocks up 3. T1 trying to scramble. The damage comes down and Flandra flashes back over the wall as Owner's first to die. T1 on the run. Kael wants a wall slam, but he can't quite find it. Hope goes in for Guma, and he cuts him down.
Understanding that this could be their moment to try and bring the game back in their favor. That fight, that flash from Tarzan, the TPs though.
Faker jumping into a spot that he should not be. He doesn't get slammed into the wall, but he's far back enough that he cannot stay alive. Hope runs after Doran. The auto attacks cutting through the Rumble. A little bit more is needed, and a little bit more will be found. Carrier presents himself on a silver platter, and it's AL. As Anivia, he can take care of those super minions. Everybody else groups up to defend the only remaining tier 3 turret, but over the wall goes Tarzan. Faker's got to try to stay safe into the back line. Public execution onto Faker. Redemption's not there in time. The egg has already been procced, but he will not be reborn. A kill onto Owner follows. AL's already found 2, and they want Gumayushi. Doran and Carrier will be next to die as T1 are wiped off of Summoner's Rift. Anyone's legend with a clean ace to win game 2.
The Panda Warriors are coming alive in game 2 and showing that in Shanghai, this city will belong to them.
Beautiful counter from AL in game number 2 to even it up 1. Looking to lock in one of those melee carries.
I really like this adaptation here if they go towards the Yone. It gives you a really strong matchup in the mid lane that you can look to bully through, and you end up with the Aurora having this push on the top side as well.
Invades just quite yet. But we're just getting all the way through the river, so they can constantly roam up to mid lane as well. And Faker is getting dangerous.
Yeah, Faker walks too close to the brush. The deadly flourish right after the EQ coming in from Tarzan. Faker still on the run. AL thinking about going further. There's your fate sealed. Shanks goes in. First blood over to Hope.
Anyone's so much mobility, so much potential to burn summoner spells and pick people off.
But this is the style of play that Anyone's Legend were so well renowned for, but Hope under pressure now.
Yeah, Carrier wants the pull and he finds it onto Hope, who immediately tries to get away with the bomb right over the top. They take him down. Gumayusi gets the kill. T1 sends more men. There's Sundered Skies available. Proto Belt also completed for Faker. T1 starting up the Drake, have it down to half HP. Kyle, Tempered Fate, trying to save his jungler. Tarzan survives for now, but T1 is bringing everybody to the show. Doran in the middle of the Cataclysm. The stolen Tempered Fate. Tarzan's already down. Kyle's about to die. T1's found 2. Shanks is in the middle of everybody, and he has to try to get away. He wants to charge Q3. He gets over the wall for now. Anyone's Legend has already lost their jungler and
mid lane.
Yep, we're right back to live, and it's Gumayusi. Already used the satchel, sidesteps the deadly flourish. Tarzan steps forward, and Hope's got the killing bullet. AL with their
behind
damage.
Guma.
Flandra's coming in here on the flank. Jumps in, but he doesn't find the opportunity here just yet. Tempered Fate, no target. Gumayusi getting away. Caught up here with the deadly flourish. The shots fire out. The curtain is called, and Gumayusi is cold. But Gumayusi has the satchel to complete the trade. Dragon for AL, tier 1 turret for T1.
Yeah, T1, wait a second.
Nice Tempered Fate there, flies out from Kyle, and now they're looking to go in after Carrier. The Mega Inferno Bomb's not gonna matter, and AL. Yeah, it's the 2-item power spike on everybody that's not a support, for everybody except for Faker. Tempered Fate, no target connection there, but AL is going all the way in. They want Gumayusi, who already gets away, so they're gonna switch over to Carrier now instead. Owner trying to fight back as Shanks is in the middle of everybody. He snaps back. Carrier dies first. Immortal Shield Bow keeps Shanks alive as AL are now continuing to retreat. Kyle and Shanks very low. T1 goes forward. Tarzan with a dunk, but he's only gonna seal his own fate. Gumayusi barely holding on, but he burns down. Faker with a kill on Tarzan. Owner chases Hope. The Jin getting away for now as T1 have lost their bottom lane, but they've killed 3 in response. Faker after Flandra, who has to flash away. Owner flashes to try to catch him with a ball breaker. Flandra needs more distance, but he cannot find it. Abscond, abduct, goodbye.
A very big hook. Maybe get an early summoner spell.
Okay, knocks Tarzan up into the air. Tempered Fate onto Tarzan to try to keep him safe a little bit longer here, and he does manage to buffer through the CC. Now Flandra putting some pain onto the T1 lines, but no! It's Owner going in, they lock up Flandra, they beat him down! Owner's on a killing spree, and that's -1 for AL. T1 find the pick.
It does provide a lot of value when the soul fight is coming, but if Faker can't get away, this could be very problematic.
Yeah, flash immediately into the binding, Tempered Fate right after. Faker trying to get away, goes golden to buy himself an extra second. Through the wall they go, Tempered Fate from Faker, keeping himself alive as Doran's under the back line. Hope is under pressure, Faker's still alive for now. Hope gonna be cut down. Doran going in and Faker's already cut down first. Hope next to die. It's a 1-for-1. AL's in the middle of everybody as Tarzan has to try to get away, and Carrier's gonna be focused, but he finds a pull over the wall beforehand. Flandra pulled in, but Doran shut down. Gumayusi over the wall with another satchel as Tarzan wants to find a little bit more, but he dies. Gumayusi and Owner working together as Guma dies to Shanks. Owner wants another. Flandra needs to get away, and he hops between worlds. The Abyss can't chase him down. Flandra gets back over the wall, and Shanks is ready to flash. Owner will get knocked into the Guardian Angel. Carrie is the only one left alive, and that Guardian Angel will not hear the
T1 to come to them.
And T1 are ready to answer the challenge. Faker with a teleport, ready to join up as immediately the engage comes out from Tarzan. The target is Carrier. The Shanks finds everybody. Thanks in the back line as Gumayusi tries to get away. He's scattered, but he's knocked down by Tarzan. Faker scrambling as Kyle and Hope chase after him. Doran's gonna be the next target, and Anyone's Legend have forced
force the world champions
The gold lead now back under the command of AL. They've got the Dragon Soul, the Elder spawning in less than 1 minute. The binding into the wall does not connect to Kyle, but now T1 is overextended. Owner's in the middle of everyone. That's your jungler right before Elder, but the TP is a mistake from Flandra. He's shut down already. Owner's Guardian Angel will not save him. It's a 1-for-1. Tempered Fate collides onto Doran.
It comes down to clutch moments.
Yeah.
Guardian Angels, though, are up for Tarzan. They are up for Shanks. AL, such an advantage.
T1 trying to approach. Doran's going to be the point man, trying to make his way in there as Gumayusi continues to throw bouncing bombs. Elder Dragon down to 3,000. Fate Seal cuts through, but the stasis is going to lock everybody up. Tarzan's going to be your focus. Mega Inferno Bomb over the top of the Elder is secured by anyone's legend, and they're continuing the fight. Faker is about to be executed as Doran falls too. Anyone's legend is murdering T1. Curtain call fires out. Most of the bullets won't find their target, but they won't need to. The final shot in Gumayusi.
Here.
All right, the inhibitor falls. It's Owner and Keria versus AL. They have to try to distract. Owner jumps into the middle of everyone, but the Elder Dragon will roar with the might of China as anyone's legend forces T1 to match point and takes game 3.
The second seed from the LPL stands on the precipice of doing what has never been done before. Control with the Victor then actually opens up for the utility of the ultimate of the Nocturne to shine more so, as you were talking about, to enable the Nico and fights.
All right, we are in an elimination game for T1 at Worlds. They're putting Gumayusi on the controversy. Is undefeated for 12 years at Worlds.
And anyone's legend, but there's so many members on the top side of the map for T1, and they don't know Doran's here.
Yeah, Doran's still there. The call of the Forge God, the paranoia over the top. Hope tries to get away with the flash, but he's still caught up in the fear. He waits to use the cleanse. Hope locked up by the Ornn, but he gets enough distance. AL staying alive for now. Kyle and Hope both get away. T1 goes in. Gumayusi with a killer instinct, but Hope still lives underneath the turret. Doran's going in with a bellows breath, and it's first blood over to Keria. Kyle tries to counterattack with Zenith Blade, but he does not have what he needs. Doran now the target. Shanks doesn't hit him with a chain. He's got to try to get away as Tarzan wants to kill Doran. Shanks still in the back part of the fight. Tarzan with a 3-man impale. T1 still trying to fight as Faker arrives in. Shanks down to 150, and the blooming burst from Keria gets him. It's purchased the Kanik Rookern. I have seen the shield break on Doran's health bar. He just goes up, he gets bonked a little bit, but now Tarzan is looking to change that around. Nice use of the Bellows Breath, but he is pulled back by the claw from Flandra. He tries to get underneath the turret. Doran flashes away. Flandra does secure the kill, but now he's got to get away from the turret. His teammates coming up to guarantee against Shanks as Tarzan trades with Keria and Gumayusi. T1 with control over the Herald as AL approach. Flandra's going to look for a target, potentially here for the Death Realm. Herald down to 4K. Claw hits 2, but Flandra can't get any closer. Owner wants to take the objective. Paranoia's already gone out. Herald secured by Owner as the Ornhorn comes in, but only finds one. Keria locks up Hope. Gumayusi into the back line, and the AL AD carries already down. Owner tries to flash away. Doran in the middle of everybody, but Flandra barely stays alive. He should surely die right after the shield falls, and Owner kills him. Kyle's on the run. T1's on the hunt. Everybody on AL's dropping, and T1 are absolutely demolishing the LPL team. Tarzan tries to dig through the wall. AL charged with a nearly impossible task. They are going to walk forward. They are going to see the Otacon started. They're bringing in the teleport. AL have to send some sort of a Hail Mary play here. Tarzan jumps in, only finds Doran. Keria looking for the Pop Blossom. He only finds it onto Kyle. The Ornhorn flies through, and Hope is already down. T1 have found their marks, and they want even more. Owner is smashed by Flandra in the Rift Herald pit here at the same time as Faker stays alive, and they cannot quite do it. Finally, they get the shutdown. AL's winning the fight. T1 may have overplayed
overstayed. They may have overstayed. AL find their way back into the game. Flandra chasing after the lone survivor as the Otacon.
This is going to be a turn from T1. Watch out for the engage.
Yep, keep your eyes on Carrier specifically here with the Nico. Teleport coming in from the AL side. Also T1 ready to reinforce. Ornhorn sounds off. Doran goes in. They're going to knock up Kyle here at the very start, but into the back line. T1, Faker under pressure. The burst into the mid laner. They found him, but Hope is also already down. Shanks next to die. The Arcane Storm is a Typhoon, but AL is fighting back. More damage to Gumayushi. Flandra wants him. Flandra can't find him. The mace will not connect over the wall. And now Tarzan goes on a killing spree. AL are winning another fight. Doran locked up. He gets away with a teleport to stay alive. 3 for 3. Very difficult spot. The Kaisa clears this very effectively just as a lone unit, and it looks like they're going to grab it here. The Scryer's Trinket used to see what T1 is doing. Shanks goes after Carrier, chunks him out, but doesn't chunk him super low. T1 takes the Drake, and now they're ready for the 5v5. Doran summons up the Ornhorn. They're going in after Flandra. They want to focus the Mordekaiser. They've got him locked up in the CC, and Faker strikes him down. AL have lost their strongest player. Tarzan whips the Impale, and Owner continues moving forward.
Have to defend the Baron. 4 versus 5.
T1 going after the big objective. Tarzan wants to step forward here, try to find a little bit of poke. Kyle and Hope now. A nice catch from Doran. Hope is already down. Tarzan has to retreat. Ishtal's impact through the wall. They can't slow him down. They can't lock him up. T1 back onto the Baron yet again. Owner down to 25% HP. AL, they're going to have their T1 going to pull off the Baron. They do not want to allow it to get low enough for Tarzan to try to steal. Doran jumps in, knocks Kyle up into the air. Shanks going in after Carrier, wants to stop him. Ornhorn through the middle of the fight, and once again, Flandra's going to get focused, but he is not dead. Big impale from Tarzan. A lot of damage comes through. Carrier dies before the Pop Blossom. Flandra in a little bit of trouble now, but he's still fighting. The shield keeps him alive, but T1 is too strong. AL running now. They've lost 2. T1 have only lost their support. It's both supports down. Flandra, the extra man dead, means T1 win the fight.
Yeah, they melt the front line. Shanks is actually creeping around, but there's not much he can get. He's looking for an angle onto Guma.
If he can find Gumayushi, that's the angle. That's the only way to win it, and there he goes! Shanks with the hero play as Hope tries to escape from Doran, but the Bellows Breath takes him down. Tarzan wants to get away from Owner, from Faker. He can't quite get there. He's feared up. Shanks nearly kills off Owner, but a beautiful spell shield keeps him alive. Shanks is trapped inside the gravity field, and Faker takes him down. If they can get a delayed kill on this jungler, they can almost guarantee themselves either a soul or a Baron, and that's exactly what they're doing. Tarzan will not be allowed to dig through the wall. The Arcane continues playing the point man here for the T1 side as another wave crashes into the tier 3 turret. A little bit more damage onto Tarzan, but it's not a lot. They don't need a lot, they just need time to chip away at these tier 3s. Doran with a Bellows Breath to get through the claw. Flandra loses half his HP. The Mordekaiser's gonna be your target. Here goes the Ornhorn. They knock Flandra up into the air, but again, nobody under serious threat. Tarzan with an impale onto 1, but he's about to die. He flashes away. Guma flashes in. Carry with a 3-man Pop Blossom will seal the fate of anyone's legend. Guma with a triple. Guma with a quadra. Only Flandra stands. Gumayushi finally dies, but AL will die with him. T1 will not go quietly. They will force down the Nexus turrets. They will move to the Nexus, and they will take us to Silver Scrapes.
Leave it to T1 at Worlds to deliver us a Silver Scrapes. On the Ashe, we assume, could be Flex to Carrier. He does have a history with it. Ooh, Ashe plus Seraphine, the goated combo. Ashe slows into Seraphine, immediately upgrading into the root, into the stun.
And what a terrifying bot lane that is to try and play against, because if anything...
In this moment, this is what esports is all about. We're in China with LPL looking to try and for the first time ever eliminate T1 from Worlds.
Avoiding all that vision as well. You can see Owner now realizing, trying to run back through mid to deny Tarzan the smite, but it's bot lane that might be in trouble.
Yeah, Gumayushi and Carrier having to back away. The zap does not connect on Gumayushi. Tarzan down here in the bottom lane. Guma wants first blood onto Kyle. It's going to be secured by Carrier.
Keria a 1-for-1, but Hope
Fall back to your basics of guys like Tarzan and Kyle, who AL played through for so much of this split. Oh, Tarzan though.
Tarzan with the Arctic Assault trying to get back into it now. Shanks could be the one under pressure, wants to fire back into the T1 lines. Owner flashing away, staying alive, but there's the Glacial Prison. Only connects under the tank, but Flanders arrived into the fight. They fight too! Anyone's Legend got exactly what they were looking for. Faker at least gets one back, but he falls as well. They're going to start up the Otacon. TP ready to arrive from the T1 side. Otacon loses his patience. AL have to be a bit careful. Flandre here on the side, he's gonna find Doran, who finds him, as now the Solar Snare finds Tarzan, and T1 are moving forward. They charm up the enemy jungler. Tarzan's already down, but Doran dies. Hope is excited, but where's the rest of the fight? Keria tries to get away, Gumayushi right beside him. Flandre here on the front line as Owner's gonna be chopped up. The Mundo dies, Hope's on a killing spree. Flandre going forward, but Faker takes him out. Hope, Shanks, and Kyle trying to get away. Guma, Keria, and Faker stepping forward. The Otacon, it's impatient, but it's so close to dead. It is stolen away by Faker himself. AL continuing to step forward. Gumayushi trying to stay very far back. Goes for the arrow. He finds it on Shanks. AL's mid laner is under pressure, but he gets away for now. Doran creating space. Dragon at 40%. Tarzan still nearby, but so is Owner. Dragon losing patience. Flandra's World Ender is about to expire. Doran still here on the front line. Hit with the Q1 of Flandra. Owner at about half HP. Shanks looking for a little bit more. Dragon at 2K. Glacial Prison fired out, but it's claimed. The soul for T1, but Owner has already died. AL have got to find more, unless they want to lose the game here. Doran takes a ton of burst. Scout of the week, the damage from the unleashed power. Shanks has another kill, and Tarzan is chasing after Faker. He gets the smite for the slow. They're gonna find another kill, but it's Hex Tech Soul for T. By the Scout of the week, but there is enough distance and the shielding from Keria to make sure that there's no follow-up from AL after.
Still, I like this from AL. See if they can find those picks. See if they can play off a vision. That's some damage onto Owner.
Yeah, they're going to commit onto the Dr. Mundo. Shanks has killed him. Owner is dead. You want to talk about clutch moments? There you go. Tarzan and Flandra going forward. Faker's going to be caught. So much damage from AL. Faker about to die. Shanks in a rampage. Anyone's Legend. 2 huge kills.
The soul
5, if nothing else, they need to stop the Baron from going over to AL right now. Shanks on the side, no ulti available for the Syndra here just yet. Tarzan over the wall wants to go in after Keria. Infernal Chains are going to connect. This Seraphine is down. Tarzan is traded, but Doran has died too. It's Gumayushi against anyone's Legend as he tries to kite and fight, but he's stunned. Good night, but kill for Shanks. AL delayed ace. Flandra gonna move forward, try to clear away the control ward. They're going in after the Aatrox. They set him up with the arrow. Flandra has been caught at a critical moment. Over the wall goes Tarzan. Wild Growth coming in from Kyle. Guardian Angel will bring Flandra back, but where is the damage on AL's side? Doran into the back line. Kyle is already down. Doran killed in response. T1 pushing forward. Shanks the next kill. Hope trying to kite. He needs to get away because T1 have won the fight 2-1.
Flandre is trying to reset and teleport back in. He's trying to link up with the team. The minions are here. They need to turn it. That's the teleport.
Okay, T1, they've got to understand this Aatrox is probably their target. Flandra arrives. Solar Snare looking to lock him up. Owner taking a ton of damage. Hope is excited. Flandra's got the kill. Solar Snare on Hope, but it's not going to do any more. Flandra's going to try to get away. Goes back in here for the Q1. Tarzan wants to engage on the Gumayushi, but he cannot find him. Flandra over the wall. Wants Faker. Can't get the damage. Hope can't do it either. Gumayushi's still alive. T1 to a second lane of super minions. Doran guiding the top lane minions up now as well as the second inhibitor falls, and T1 are looking for the end of the game. The Elder's got 15 seconds left on it. T1 guiding the Baroned up minions toward the Nexus turrets. Solar Snare not hitting a target. Flandra and the rest of AL scrambling to try to defend. Nexus turret's down to about half HP. Owner takes some burst. Tarzan takes more. T1 looking for the engage. They found Flandra, but he gets away. Half HP on the front line of AL. T1 pushing forward. They've made their way on the Nexus. AL scrambles to defend. Doran can't do it. History is written by the victors. And yet again, T1 turns the page of the LPL. They will